Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for those of you who are watching all over on the other side of the world. My name is 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗀, and before I do my introduction, I have a small video to show you.
Let's humanize the workplace. As a workplace wellness advocate, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗀 helps managers with keeping their team members healthy, happy, and safe. Inspired by Richard Branson's quote, "Take care of your employees, and they will take care of your clients." As a result of working with her, your team members will go from disconnected, unmotivated, burned out, to happy, engaged, and productive. People who thrive have a positive impact on your clients and your company. Let's humanize the workplace.
That's technology. Sometimes things happen, sometimes things don't. Hi, my name is 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗀, the workplace wellness advocate, and I've been hosting Let's Humanize the Workplace for almost about 2 weeks. And today is my last guest, but I'll introduce her later on. So for those of you, if you're watching online, please let me know where you're from and who you are, of course, so that I can say hi to you. And I almost forgot about sharing something about LinkedIn, right? So if you're watching this broadcast on LinkedIn, please know that I have to watch on my phone from time to time. So I'm going to do that now. I forgot to do that. I was supposed to be doing that during my intro, but I got preoccupied with other things. So I'm going to do that now. So I can see that Carolina is watching. Hi, Carolina. Thanks. Hi. Thank you for saying hi. And also, if you're watching, please say hi and let me know if you're team live or team replay, right? So please share where you're from and let me know if you're team live or team replay, because it's always good to know where people are watching from, and also good to know if you're watching the replay or if you're watching the live venue, right? So today I have something special for you, but before I share, who my next guest speaker is and what topic we are going to discuss, I also want you to know that we put in a lot of energy in this and a lot of love regarding this topic. Let's humanize the workplace. So sharing is caring. So please share this on your timeline, or just put a heart out, or just clap, or just put a thumbs up, so that we know that we're doing a good job, right? So let's humanize the workplace. It's tied with the Sustainable Development Goals. It's very important that we put our own effort towards creating a sustainable workplace, but also creating a sustainable world, a global movement, which is happening the last few days. And I feel like we owe it to ourselves, but we owe it to our children to create more sustainable workplace. So my focus is not only on number 3. I know a lot of companies are focusing on well-being on number 3, but it's also important to look into the other sustainable development goals to see what other ties can you attach to your company regarding the sustainable workplace. So today will be a little bit about let's see, the number gender equality, but also quality education, and of course number 3. But I want you to challenge your organization, and I want you to challenge yourself. What can you do to make the world a better place, and what can you do to humanize the workplace? Because I do feel that we all are responsible for creating a thriving workplace where people can be themselves and also can go home feeling energized, right? That's what we're all about today. So before I'm going to introduce my next guest speaker, who is Marjolijn Vlug. And Marjolijn is a job coach for people who know what they want, but are looking to get there with more clarity and less stress. We love that. She also advises organizations about improving their overall HR and recruitment experience. Welcome, Marjolijn.
Hi, Vivian. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And before we start this session, okay, I want to say Helen Steptoe is tuning in from Amsterdam. Thank you, Helen, for watching. And also Carolina, she's a fan favorite from Brazil. Thank you for watching. So we have people from the Netherlands and also all the way in Brazil. Wow, this is So
Cool.
amazing. Yeah, very
Hi.
cool. So, first of all, what I want to share is a video from 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 before we start with today's session, because today's session is all about being the real you at work. And doing that, I have to do the introduction with 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. So let us begin.
I talk a lot about bringing your whole self to work, something I really believe in deeply. Motivation comes from working on things we care about, missions, passions, causes. But motivation also comes from working with people we care about. And the only way to really care about someone is to understand them. You have to know what they love and hate. You have to know not just what they think, but what they feel. I don't believe we have some professional self on Mondays through Fridays, and then we can put that self away and be some different self the rest of the week. That's probably never worked, but in today's era of social networking, Facebook, individual voice, it probably makes even less sense. I've cried at work. I've said publicly I've cried at work, which got reported as Sheryl Sandberg cried on Mark Zuckerberg's shoulder, which is not exactly how it happened. I speak about being a woman. I give public talks about the differences between men and women, something people are continually shocked at because the traditional way to be a woman, someone who's a little different in the workforce, is to never talk about it. I don't think that works. I talk about my hopes and fears. I admit if I'm having a good day or a bad day. I ask people about their hopes and fears and ask them if they're having a good or a bad day. I try to be myself, with all of my honest strengths and my honest weaknesses, and I encourage others to do the same. It's all professional and it's all personal because each of us are exactly one human being, all wrapped up together, just like we are on Facebook.
So what do you think about what Sheryl shared? I'm talking like Sheryl, she's my friend, right? Maybe in the future, maybe she will participate in this conversation. But what is it that you like about her talk?
I completely agree, and what I like about it is that it's her saying it from her perspective and from her position in our society. I think it's the tone of her speech is nice. She's even saying it as a real person, and she's living it for other people to see and for other people to get inspired and think, I want to do that too. I'm going to do that too tomorrow at work. And that's what I love coming from her. Yeah.
Definitely, and also know that Sheryl Sandberg is on a C-level. I forgot on which C-level she's in, but she's sitting in the C-suite of Facebook, and she wrote a book about Lean In, which is so important for us to especially read, but also to understand where she's coming from, right? And for her to be that vulnerable, share about why it is important for us to, bring on each day we should be ourselves at the workplace, right? And that she shared something about we cannot switch off a different mode when we are in the workplace.
Yeah, and she's being completely real about it. She's not being formal about it. She's not being super informal and ha ha ha, cuddly happy. She's just a normal person.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the point of the whole thing she's saying and the thing that we're talking about today, right?
But why do people feel the need to split their identities, right? They feel the need that in the weekends they are party hardy, and during
for
the
example,
week, for example,
whatever
or
like.
they have a different social life and a different work life.
Yeah.
Can you maybe share what that does to us?
Well, there's the why people do it, and there's the result and what it brings people. I think it can be hard to be yourself because you see the way other people behave in the workplace, and you think you should conform to that. There's a lot of traditions and with the usual way of behaving in the workplace is very formal, and that comes from the way we used to work. a long time ago, and that's not what it's like anymore now, but people are still adjusting to that. So you've seen how your parents behaved in the workplace, what they expected. You've seen, old bosses and what they expected. You've seen your co-workers and the way they behaved and the way they brought their selves to work. And those expectations that other people have and that you yourself would have of yourself,
that's right.
Make it hard to switch to, I'm a real person. Why wouldn't that be okay? And things are really changing, and it's really okay to be yourself at work.
I'm also going to show the next screen because I think it's important to share this as well. So I am my professional self, which is not necessarily my home self, but that's fine. But when I walk through the door, it's work. There is a certain level of professionalism that needs to go with that, and that's who I am. What do you think about, because I found this online, what do you think about this statement somebody is making?
I agree to the extent that I think that lots of people have different sides to who they are. Not everybody has that. Some people are the exact same wherever they are, and some people have different sides to themselves. Like sometimes they're more introverted, sometimes they're more extroverted, and it's great to adapt to what you're comfortable with in a certain situation, and it's great to adapt to the context that you're in. If you're working with clients, you definitely want them to see your best self. And I think that's part of your professional self, where at home you would talk about different topics, you would address different things. So there can be a difference, but I don't think the difference should be very big. And this is about, the thing that you could say to yourself when you're entering the workplace. But there's also something about how you look at other people and what you expect of other people. So you can expect other people to be their professional selves, but always know that they're a real person.
Yeah.
They're not a robot. They're not a professional robot.
That we forget that people are real, right? It seems like that people aren't supposed, because I did a broadcast, I think last Tuesday, about bringing your emotions in the workplace, or managing your emotions in the workplace. And it touches what you are sharing at the moment. Like, you have to be human. We bleed, we cry, we hurt, we have feelings.
Yep. And we're not always rational by the rules and the expectations of what other people would think your behavior would be. And that's okay. And the good thing is, that's really valuable.
Definitely.
And as soon as you start seeing that and recognizing that, you can bring that value to work and have the company benefit from that. Because, in whatever position you're in, you're working with other people, and they will be doing their thing better if you are bringing your human self to them.
Yeah. And Carolina is saying also caring is understanding, which is an important factor in the workplace, right? So why is it important to bring our true selves at work?
It's important, first of all, for yourself, because bringing your whole self to work and being yourself at work will help you be the best self that you are. In the workplace, you may be missing out on things because there's things about yourself that you're not bringing in. Then the other thing is that it will make you a lot happier and take a lot less energy if you're just yourself rather than hiding stuff and pushing things away. And the third thing is why I really appreciate that Sheryl Sandberg speech in that video, is that by being yourself, you show other people that it's okay for them to be themselves as well. And that matters. And they will know the difference to their lives as well.
And I think also regarding, I'm not going to generalize the different generations, but there is a new wave coming that people would rather work for a company that feels humane or have have a high human factor and treat people like people, than being in an environment where you're supposed to you're supposed to say goodbye to yourself and become one of them.
Yeah, fit in a certain mold, the same shape of everyone, and yeah.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a thing for organizations as well. It already is, and it's going to be like that even more. That, you know, if you want good employees, you're not going to get the good ones if you don't let them be people, humans.
Yeah, true.
You're gonna get stuck.
I mean, you can see different branches or different categories in the Netherlands who are facing a lot of challenges regarding the war for talent, because they are complaining about we cannot find the right talent. But then again, what are you doing for the in-house talent to remain happy, to be an advocate for your company, to be ambassadors for your company, right? Because I do feel like a positive energy attracts new people, and why not let your people share that positive energy by being themselves and encouraging that.
Yeah, certainly. And bringing all the energy they have to their work rather than just part of it, because there's not enough left after all that, you know, trying to fit in the mold and leaving your emotions at home and your personal life, and, you know, not being flexible. That takes a lot of energy away from what could otherwise be put into doing an even better job.
Yeah, it can
even more value.
People could end up being stressful, can be perceived as that horrible boss or that horrible colleague, and eventually also it can also play a huge part in burning out at the workplace, right?
Yeah, it can be exhausting.
Yeah.
Even if you don't notice, as soon as you start being yourself a bit more and more and more, you suddenly realize, whoa, that was exhausting.
It is.
You know?
It is.
Yeah.
So why is it that people don't feel comfortable with being themselves at the workplace?
It can be scary if you're afraid that you're not going to fit in, if you're afraid that other people are not going to accept you. That can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I do understand that.
And also looking back towards my career, when I started, I was looking up towards, you know, my role models at the workplace, and they behaved in a certain way. And I thought that I should behave in a certain way. So it took me a while to find my identity. I was there, but I was still the you know, like I said, I'm an introvert / ambivert. So maybe some people know me as the extrovert, but know that there are different personas regarding myself. And it took me a while to embrace the different parts of myself, but also it took me a while to acknowledge that there's a time and a place for those different Vivians, and also owning that extrovertness in the workplace, right? Because it seems like the introverted people are being overshadowed by those who are extroverted, while their voice also counts.
Yeah, true. And that's something that is getting more recognition nowadays. It's you know, one of the many aspects of diversity, I guess. Yeah, for sure. And it's okay that you need some time to figure all that out. You know, when you're just starting out on the work floor in a job and in your next job, it's okay that you take some time to figure that out about yourself. What is the real you that you want to bring? That's fine.
Definitely.
As long as you know that it's okay, you're allowed to be yourself.
So we were talking about this a while ago, and I really want to I've been advocating about the Pearl movie, right? So I want to show the Pearl movie again to let the people know what I was talking about what it means to not be able to be yourself at the workplace.
It's a gem.
Yeah. This is just a sneak preview of 1 minute.
Hi, I'm Kristen Lester, and I'm the writer-director of Pearl, one of the first shorts from Pixar's Spark Shorts program.
Pearl is a movie about belonging.
Well, it's based on my experience being in animation. My first job, I was like the only woman in the room. And so in order to do the thing that I loved, I sort of became one of the guys. And then I came to 𝗏𝗃𝗃 and I started to work on teams with women for the first time. And that actually made me realize how much of the female aspect of myself I had sort of buried and left behind.
When Kristen came to me and said, this is the story that I want to tell, I looked at her and I said, oh my gosh, I have lived the exact same thing.
And then anytime I pitched the idea of a ball of yarn tries to get a job, people were like, that is totally nuts. I totally want to see that.
So for those of you who haven't seen that movie, it's a must to watch it because it's very important to, it displays so many things that, you know, you can change or can see in the workplace where people who want to be themselves can't be themselves because they want to fit in a certain mold. And I think that you are being hired by the talents and the skill sets that you bring into the workplace and who you are. So if they want to, you know, have a robot, or if they want a copy of XYZ, they should have made a copy of XYZ. I mean, the robots are coming out of,
yeah.
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 Definitely.
Yeah, it's a great short. It's well made and it's gonna make you happy. It's gonna cheer you up for sure.
Definitely. So what can leaders do to encourage their team members to bring their whole selves at work?
That's a great question. I think there's a few things they can do. First thing is be yourself with all the kindness and respect and room you can make for others. So being yourself is not taking up the whole space for yourself in the whole team. It's making room for others as well, but just being yourself. It's about listening and about looking at other people and seeing and recognizing who they are. Talking about that, appreciating it, saying that's really nice about you, or you know, talking about it and being attentive to it, to other people and who they really are, rather than the one side you see of them or what you think they should be.
And to add on that, because you're expressing who they really are, but I've joined companies where in the beginning there was no onboarding. So this onboarding thing that is happening at the moment, I really love it. But then again, after maybe the first 3 months, or after a half year, or after a year, the love is gone. You feel that different vibe. How can they, I feel like managers or maybe HR or the company itself need to facilitate that team building is a muscle that you need to train, and that through team building you can get to know the people, get to know the real them, and also get to know them outside of the workplace, right? Because then you'll see the total package of how somebody is and what somebody's facing in the words of challenges, or maybe somebody is a caretaker for somebody, you know, those things can weigh a lot on a person or going through a tough situation.
Yeah, you can ask, you can listen, and you can do what you can to create trust, so that people are comfortable enough to share that. Because not everybody is, you know, happy to share everything about themselves, and that's okay. And then you recognize that, and you look at that, and you still ask them, and you still make them feel welcome.
The important and huge factor is to create a safe environment where people feel psychologically safe to express their thoughts and their needs and the things that they want to share with you, so that they can grow, so that they can still be, you know, the best selves at in the workplace, right? And Sheryl Sandberg was sharing a hope. What is your hope and your fear for regarding this team, but also regarding what you're doing at the moment and regarding onwards for 2020?
Well, what I'm working on is hospitality in the workplace, which means making everyone feel and making everyone know that they're welcome as they are at work.
So beyond the 1 year love onboarding, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. You're welcome. You are welcome at work as you are, as the person you are. And my hope is that this will become completely normal, and that everyone everywhere will say, "Yeah, sure. What's your problem? That's normal." And what I'm working on is making that completely normal, and helping organizations and individuals take those steps. You know, you can have this idea of, that sounds really good, I want to do that, but then how are you going to do it? So I work with people who are looking for jobs, to, as soon as they start communicating with a company and applying for a job, be their real selves and show their real selves, so you can make
That's
a good
also
start with
important.
that.
Yeah.
And I work with organizations, in HR, communications, and in management, to use that mindset, to shift that mindset to everyone's welcome. And you know, I'm not saying that everybody should always stay in the company. You know, if you're not a good match anymore, if you're not the right people to help each other, it's fine to say goodbye, but you're still welcome in this world as the person you are.
But it's also regarding what Shay shared on Monday was, even though you leave a company, it's important to still have that good vibe with that former employee and employer. Maybe set up an alumni so that the love is still there, because she shared something that I forgot, and that was, even though you worked at a company and you're no longer there, you're still a representative of that company. People will look at you as a representative of that company. So that's very important. And what do you fear? Because you talked about your hopes, but what do you fear?
Oh, I'd rather not think about my fears, because you know, whatever you pay attention to gets bigger. But
yeah, but regarding to this topic, what do you fear for organizations?
If they don't, if they're not attentive to this idea, you mean? My fear is that they're going to get really stuck, because other organizations that do realize this will get better people and will get more out of those people. And I already see it. You know, I hear it from people who are looking for a new job and telling me about their previous job. Think, ooh, I would leave there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Good people are leaving, and the people that are staying are either not necessarily the best people or not bringing their best selves to work. So it's going to get harder and harder for you to run your business. And on the other hand, it's going to get easier if you get on board with these ideas that we're sharing today, and that you've been sharing for the past weeks in the whole Let's Humanize the Workplace series.
True.
Running a business gets easier.
Yeah, true. My hope is that I do see a lot of hope in organizations who are really stepping up and really adding that human factor in the workplace, where they, let people not play around, but experiment with the factors that works for their team, their company, to put the company in good graces, but also for company that, not only do the talking, they are walking the walk. And that is what I hope to see more of. What I fear is that the companies who are not addressing this and who are complaining about the war for talent, or complaining about a high turnover, or complaining about the absenteeism rate is on a high level, there is a way to make that change. And in just 5 years, companies will not be existent anymore. Companies will not be attractive anymore because of social media, because of people leaving reviews on Indoor, on Monsterboard, and Glassdoor regarding how it was working in your company, right? Because,
telling everyone in their network.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. And I do see people like, there's popular themes right now in the workplace, like
Such as
employee
diversity and
experience,
inclusion.
diversity inclusion,
Yeah.
the candidate journey for recruiters, talent development. There's lots of things going on, and I see lots of people think, okay, give me the recipe, give me the
And
instructions, and I'll do it in
fixed
my
recipe.
organization.
No.
There isn't, but that's because it's all about your mindset, and learning about that mindset, which what we're talking about today is a part of, is then the basis for all your decisions and for the things you choose, the actions you choose that you don't take from a list from another company or an example from another company. The actions you choose come from that mindset, the starting point, and the way you look at things, rather than a list of things to do.
I hear people talking about, Google is a good example when it comes to the benefits of the employees, right? But what to do if you're not Google? You don't have to be a Google to treat your people like people. You can start with...
And still, there's been massive walkouts in Google. There's been people who are so incredibly unhappy that they are protesting in the streets. So, having that great list of benefits is not the be all and end all. They're still missing out. There's like this big black hole in their peripheral vision about what the real point is.
Yeah, true. I also want to touch on something else because we didn't discuss this, but it's coming on top of mind. Because do you feel like when we're talking about, I don't want to name, but when we're talking about the big corporate structure where they are doing things in traditional way, the bigger they are, I feel like they are losing their identity. What regarding the organization culture, because the company started small and it was very lovable, very likable, but once it grows, who is going to maintain that, that likable culture?
Like who in the organization should do that, you mean, or how would you do it?
Both. And I know there's not one answer for everything that I'm asking right now, but it's so important that at least you share something of your vision about how we can maintain that culture, even though we're growing and getting bigger. And
in a way you can't. I think I think you can have a good think about the core elements of that culture by asking people inside your organization, people who've just joined, people who see it from the outside, and by looking at your actions and your decisions from the past years and think about what is the core of who we are. How do we interact with people? How do we interact with each other? But the way you then do it as you grow will become different. When you're 15, it's a team of 15 people or 20 or even 30 or maybe 50. When it's your birthday, you bring a snack, you bring cake. But when you're 150 or
you don't do that anymore. You bring sweets.
You can still be nice to other people on your birthday and you can still connect on a real level. You just have to find new ways of doing that.
Yeah. And also you share something, because I know you that you also do internal communication, right? And how can we re-amplify or amplify the love for the employees through communication?
Ooh, nice question.
Yeah.
I think through internal communications.
Yeah. And not kill them with newsletters, because I don't read. Well, I do read, but I learned that I am, an auditive person. That's why I love doing the podcast, doing this video. I love having visuals. And sometimes when I see newsletters from other companies, just like, okay, kill me softly. Kill me softly.
And if you're the target audience, The first thing I usually talk about with clients and the people who ask about this is, who's your target audience? What's going to reach them? Communications is always about the basic, there's you, there's the people you want to send your message to, and there's the message itself. How are you going to get that across? And I can totally imagine that those newsletters really work in some organizations, and in other organizations you can't do a newsletter at all because no one's behind the computer, because they're all outside working in construction or whatever. Make sure it matches your target audience and realize that they are real people.
Yeah.
They're not going to read
And
the
also
newsletter because
experiment.
they're supposed to, because that's what they're supposed to do, and it's a rule and it's a regulation. They are real people. Make sure that it fits into their lives and in their experience.
And I think also experiment from time to time, right? Because I love technology, sometimes too much. And I do feel like organizations are lagging behind regarding what different styles, what different ways you can communicate with people. Because like I said, we have different people who are learning in different ways. And for me, you can rather speak to me via visuals or via audio than make me read, especially when it's a language that isn't my first language, and it's not written in a style that it's I'm not going to say that I read only romantic books, because I do read a lot of books regarding, workplace engagement and etc. But sometimes the content is so boring.
You're not and I have to tell everybody, Vivian is one of the people I know that is the biggest fans of voice messages, whether it's in LinkedIn or WhatsApp. With Vivian, you always get voice messages.
It's easier because the fact that I've typed my sentence, I forgot my sentence. So why not express myself, which is easier. And in the Netherlands, we do have, sometimes I kill myself to death, or no, I shouldn't say that, but it's frustrating to think about the grammar. It's frustrating. And it's blocking my creativity. And why not express myself with a voice message like I use?
The options are out there. Why not use them?
Yeah, definitely.
And when I'm your target audience, I'm going to listen to them. I don't mind. I love it. Yeah. And going back to your question about just trying stuff out and seeing what works and what doesn't. When you're doing internal communications, you are a real person too. You can try stuff out, see what works, learn things.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's a learning curve. You say, okay, we did a pilot. This is the information that we got from it. This is how we're going to adjust. It's fine. Being a real person includes trying stuff out and messing up, learning from it, and doing better.
Okay, can you repeat that last sentence again? Because I didn't think that everybody heard it. So repeat it. Well, especially that messing up part.
Being a real person at work, that is for everyone. It's for you too, and it includes trying things out, messing things up, trying again, doing better, celebrating that.
And learning from that as well. So I really loved our talk, and unfortunately the time is up, but Marjolijn is definitely, this is not the last time you'll be hearing from Marjolijn. So definitely look her up, connect with her, ask her questions, or ask me questions, look me up. It has been an amazing 2 weeks. And Marjolijn is my last speaker for this year, for 2019. I am going to say goodbye to everybody for 2019. And I'm also going to be sharing that starting from next year, from the January the 14th at 7:30 Central European time, I have to translate it towards another time, but it will be UK time, 6:30. I will do a weekly broadcast, and sometimes I will take a time off to not do a weekly broadcast, but doing this, having these online conversations with 2 or 3, with 2 people or with just one person, it has been amazing. And mostly I have this conversation via the phone, or just what Marjolijn shared, right, via LinkedIn, and I'm sharing messages. Shit, you just shared my secret. But I really love, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, LinkedIn has a voice note app where if you're if you're using LinkedIn messaging on the phone, you can use your voice to send the message across. Some people like that, some people don't. So I do respect that. But
it's your thing.
It's definitely my thing. No, it's definitely my thing. And I want to say that next year, so starting from next year, January the 14th, 7:30 Central European Time, expect to see me talking about what's important for Let's Humanize the Workplace. So I might be talking to somebody about the physical work environment, but I might also be talking to a company who does healthy food. So I'm encouraging you to, look me up. And if you want to become my next guest speaker, just let me know and we'll sort something out, right? So looking forward to having these honest conversations about humanizing the workplace. And I would also like to say thank you to everybody who has been watching this show. It has been an amazing journey, like my journey. This is my own journey on LinkedIn. And I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Final words, Marjolijn.
Thank you. It's been really fun. And I hope to see you in the next year.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.